Hey everybody, this is TheHappySpaceman with another review. People seem to have very mixed feelings about 80s hair metal. Some people love it, others hate it. Me, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll admit that it has good songs and bands, but also agree that other songs and bands weren't up to par. So I looked around for a movie that highlighted everything awesome and stupid about this genre. Rock of Ages. Based on the 2006 Broadway musical, this is a strange little trip back to the 1980s glam metal scene. I guess you can see the reasoning behind it, since there already was a musical for the Beatles and ABBA, and this movie had an ensemble cast, including Russell Brand, Tom Cruise, and Alec Baldwin. Because when I think hair metal, I think of Alec Baldwin. And fittingly enough, this movie bombed both critically and at the box office. But was that really deserved? Could this movie redeem itself? Well, let's go down to La Paradise City and find out. So first of all, why is it called Rock of Ages anyway? I mean, I know there was a Def Leppard song called Rock of Ages, except that song is never used in this musical. Other Def Leppard songs are in it, but not that one. Isn't that kind of misleading, naming your movie after a song that's never even in it? It's like if the Metallica song Through the Never was never in their movie Through the Never. Really? Huh. Anyway, this movie centers around a woman named Sherry Christian, played by the girl from the Footloose remake. She's moving from her small Oklahoma town to Hollywood with dreams of becoming a singer. Yes, I know her character is incredibly cliched. Well, don't worry folks, we have a lot more stereotypical characters coming up. Yay! Anyway, so she and the people around her partake in singing a cover of Sister Christian. Or Just Like Paradise. Or is it Nothing But a Good Time? So it's just like Sister Good Time or something? Sherry shows up in front of the Bourbon, a big glam metal club. But as is common in LA, within her first few minutes there, she gets her things stolen. Well, at least that much is realistic. And then she meets our next cliché, Drew Boley, who works at the Bourbon but is also a singer and has dreams of playing on the stage and making it big. Oh yeah, because struggling singers who have longish hair and wear dark t-shirts and vests totally exist. Shut up. So Drew tries to get Sherry a job at the Bourbon, owned by what the hell is that? This is Dennis Dupree, owner of the Bourbon, played by Alec Baldwin. But let's face it, you're not listening to a word I'm saying right now. You're looking at that terrible hairpiece. I swear, that thing looks alive. Dennis's right-hand man is Lonnie Barnett, played by Russell Brand. And if you don't believe Sherry's character is cliched, get this. Dennis and Lonnie guess her entire backstory.
Sang in the church choir every Sunday. Lutheran. Senior year, you had the third lead in your high school musical. Sound of Music. Your adorable Aunt Betty told you you have real talent. And like a flaming dip, you believed her, dumped your jock boyfriend, ditched town and moved to Hollywood to have a crack at fame and fortune.
Wow, it's pretty bad when your movie is criticizing its own unoriginal characters. But she does finally get a job as a waitress, as we see a town hall meeting with the mayor, who I swear looks like Mitt Romney.
He just leaned into my ear and he said, "Mike, I have kids, teenagers, and these days, I'm scared for them. We need to clean up this city."
As he channels William Shatner, he takes the time to introduce his wife, Patricia, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, shut up, nostalgia critic. She plays the part of our next cliched character, a Christian mother who thinks that rock and roll is satanic and wants to destroy the club.
Rock and roll is a disease.
And we are the cure.
But Lonnie thinks he's seen her before.
She looks familiar to me, this woman, then. She looks eerily familiar, eh?
Well, thanks for that obvious setup for the climax. Meanwhile, Sherry and Drew hang out at a record store, as it's revealed through poor exposition that a band called Arsenal is playing their last show at the Bourbon the next night, and their lead singer Stacey Jax is going solo. Drew claims that Stacey inspired him to become a rocker.
I decided if I couldn't see Stacey Jax, I was gonna be Stacey Jax.
And thus we partake in this movie's second musical number, Jukebox Hero. Now this makes me wonder, what kind of universe is this movie where people can just break out into a song on a regular basis? I tried doing that at a record store once. I was shushed. I guess this is the same alternate universe as Glee and West Side Story, where people just go around singing all the time. What do I know? I thought we were singing Jukebox Hero. When did we switch songs? Also, something you may notice is that for a glam metal musical, there are an awful lot of songs that aren't glam metal. So far we've had a song by Foreigner and one by Joan Jett. Isn't that a little confusing? It's like if they put a Journey song in the Queen musical, We Will Rock You. It just doesn't work. So then we cut back to Patricia, who talks with her husband about closing down the bourbon. And I gotta be honest, every sentence she says sounds like that of a James Bond villain or something.
We'll go after the head of the snake. Me and the ladies are going after all the church groups to make this happen. If we find so much as a hair and a cocktail olive, we're shutting them down. The strip will die.
She even laughs at one point. It's like this movie knows that we know that she's a villain and wants to remove all subtlety. We then find out that the bourbon is in danger of being shut down, and its future relies on Arsenal's show the next night. So Dennis calls Stacey Jax's manager, Paul Gill, played by Paul Giamatti, who constantly keeps Stacey drugged up enough to be his puppet. An evil manager slash producer who is only in it for the money and cares nothing about the musician's artistic integrity? We haven't seen that character before. Except, of course, in That Thing You Do, Phantom of the Paradise, Jailhouse Rock, Interstellar 4-5, the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, The Harder They Come, This Is Spinal Tap, and that one episode of Saved by the Bell. But apart from that, completely original. So after he puts away his 80s cell phone, Paul goes inside the Indiana Jones tribe room to see, whoa, okay, never show that to me again. Well, we finally meet Stacey, played by Tom Cruise, and to be fair, he's probably, oh god, movie! First his crotch, now his butt, you're sick!
Something on, man.
As I was saying, Tom Cruise as Stacey Jax is probably my favorite part of this movie, since his performance in most of it is delightfully hammy, though I can't help but think that he was in the same mindset when he flipped out in the Oprah show. Anyway, we then cut back to Catherine Zeta-Jones, who has raised an army of Christian mothers to fight against Tom Cruise. Saying that out loud makes me realize how strange this sounds.
Take a good look, ladies. Take a hard, good, long, hard look.
Okay, stop it! What is your fetish with Tom Cruise's crotch? I thought I saw enough crotch shots in the last movie I reviewed.
It's gotta stop! And we're the ones who are gonna do it.
So your plan to bring about the end of rock music involves singing a rock song. Isn't that kind of like saying, I hate jazz music, it makes me sick. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. By the way, the scene of them dancing is intercut with the scene of Mitt Romney cheating on his wife with a woman who likes to spank him. Makes me wonder if this movie was actually a porno in disguise as a musical. Hey, with all the shots of Tom Cruise's body, I wouldn't doubt it. Actually, I wouldn't even mind this scene if it wasn't completely pointless. Yeah, you may notice when watching this that there are many subplots that are never really resolved or brought up again. For example, Drew turns out to have stage fright.
I get stage fright.
You've gotta be kidding me.
And that's all there is! Never mentioned or brought up again.
You've gotta...
And another one is the fact that Lonnie and Dennis seem to have a man crush on each other, as their faces are often inches apart, but we'll get to that later. So Sherry and Drew hang out in the Hollywood sign, back before it was illegal, in which we get... Okay, this is a porno. I mean, look at it. She's dancing while wearing a see-through dress and underwear, not to mention the sexy sax music in the background. All we need is for her to go down on him. Alright, am I gonna have to start censoring this? But it turns out it was all just a dream, as Sherry asks Drew to perform a song for her.
This is something I kind of started working on after we, met last night.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
That's not original. That's Don't Stop Believin' by Journey.
A singer in a smoky room.
If by working on this you mean plagiarizing from a classic rock station.
For a smile they can share the night.
And it goes on and on and on.
It's so beautiful, I can't believe you wrote that.
That's because he didn't write it! So Sherry tries singing it for herself, and it's more in her range, considering Steve Perry, the original singer, has a range like the Vienna Boys Choir. Drew says that it sounds better with her voice, and apparently that's an excuse for them to make out, get together despite only knowing each other for fewer than 2 days, and partake in a music montage. But more important things are happening, like sex puns even AC/DC wouldn't make.
Our opener just dropped out.
Concrete balls?
They're in rehab.
Both of them?
There are 6 of them.
Jesus, that band's got a lot of balls.
So since they don't have an opener, Sherry suggests that Drew could play instead.
He's better than concrete balls.
Yeah, that's a good point. Concrete balls are very heavy.
You know, it's dialogue like this that made me realize why Motley Crue would not let their music be used in this movie.
Okay. Call your band. 3 songs, no covers.
So Drew's band, Wolfgang von Cult, gets open for Arsenal, as we see Stacey Jacks enter with his manager, boatloads of fans, and his monkey, Heyman. I'm not even kidding, he has a pet monkey now.
Now let's burn this place to the ground. Right on, brother. Rock and roll. No. When I'm done, we literally need to burn this place to the ground. Otherwise, the Fire Phoenix gets trapped.
Oh my god, Tom Cruise is talking about Scientology! Run!
I mean, of course, you're not really gonna burn the place down to the ground, right?
No. You can't trap a Fire Phoenix.
Who is this guy? He's like Jim Morrison if he was even more surreal. You know, like the Oliver Stone Jim Morrison. But we'll get to that BS in another review, trust me. So they send in cliched character number 5. The uptight, glasses and conservative clothes wearing reporter, who will definitely become a super hottie once she lets her hair down, takes off her glasses, gets naked, and admits her true worship of Stacy. She's actually Constance Sack, a reporter for Rolling Stone sent to interview Stacy, but not before he autographs a loyal fan's boobs. I guess this is supposed to show the more superficial side of the music industry, but most male musicians would be thrilled to autograph a woman's boobs. Mixed message there, guys! But the interview doesn't go well, so she asks her final question.
What's it like to be the Stacey Jacks?
And could you please answer me without singing about it? Oh, Bob Saget. Now, to be fair, this is probably my second favorite musical segment in the movie. But when I first watched it, I thought that Tom Cruise was lip-syncing. I mean, would you ever listen to that and think it was Tom Cruise's real singing voice? Actually, all the cast members sang their own parts in this film, which I have to admit is pretty awesome. But Stacy sends everybody out of his room as he tells Constance that his rock and roll lifestyle is all about sex, and that he doesn't know what love is. I think we can all see where this is going. But Constance leaves as Sherry comes in with some scotch for Stacy and accidentally spills it everywhere. Drew gets up on stage with his band, but he sees Sherry leaving Stacy's room and thinks she's had sex with him.
I want to rock!
Well, thanks for spoiling what song you'll do next.
I said I wanna rock.
Wait. Didn't Dennis say...
No covers.
Yeah, so why are you playing a cover? So they play their set and they're a huge hit. But sadly, Drew breaks up with Sherry. And by sadly, I mean stupidly, because he never even bothers to ask her about it. No, instead he goes on thinking that she slept with Stacy, and she thinks that he's obsessed with the spotlight or something. Freaking idiots. But enough of that scene. Let's see how Stacy is doing. Hell yeah! Remember how I said that Wanted Dead or Alive was the second best song in this movie? Well, Pour Some Sugar on Me is definitely the best. I don't even know why, since the appeal of Wanted Dead or Alive comes from how fitting it is in that scene. With this, it comes mostly from the fact that it's friggin' Def Leppard, and their music is awesome. Though to be honest, it feels weird listening to someone playing Def Leppard and the drummer using both arms. Come on, you have to blow off one of your arms like the drummer from Def Leppard did. It just doesn't feel right otherwise. But Paul takes the profits from the concert for himself while claiming that Stacy wanted it.
You are cutting my throat here.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
I gave him his first gig. And I gave him his first $1 million.
Oh my god! So the manager we all knew was a complete slimeball turned out to be... a complete slimeball! What a twist. So Sherry quits her job at the Bourbon and, now with nowhere to go and no money, has to get a job as a waitress at a strip bar. Meanwhile, Drew signs the contract to promote his music while they sing Here I Go Again. Also, just a side note, most of the band and artist names in this movie are terrible. Wolfgang von Cult, Concrete Balls, even Stacey Jacks sounds phony. These don't sound like 80s band names, they sound like satires of 80s band names. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a band called the Z-Guys or something.
You will be. You will be.
By the way, remember how I mentioned earlier that Dennis and Lonnie have a man crush on each other? Well, maybe it's a little more than that, as shown in this scene, where they realize their love and sing Can't Fight This Feeling. It's still better than the Horton Hears a Who version. And as I said earlier, the relationship between these two is altogether pointless. Yeah, they have this big song number where they confess their love for each other and make out, and then it never shows up again. This movie has more unresolved subplots than The Room. Okay, that's a bit harsh, but you get the idea. Speaking of unresolved subplots, whatever happened to Catherine Zeta-Jones? It's been more than an hour since she last appeared or was even mentioned. Did she just want to spend as little time in this movie as possible? So Sherry doesn't feel she's getting enough respect, even though she's working in a friggin' strip joint, so what does she expect? But Justice, the owner, tells her that the only way she'll get respect is to become a stripper. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
That stage is a pedestal, and when you're up there, you're untouchable. And when you're up there, you can have it any way you want it.
Oh come on! We just finished the song less than a minute ago. We don't need another. Anyway, yes, the next song is Any Way You Want It. And during this, Sherry becomes a stripper. Meanwhile, Paul convinces Drew to change his image to join a boy band, turning him into, oh Jesus, Vanilla Ice's stunt double.
I'm Wolfgang von Colt, not Joshy Z, nor the Z guys.
No, you are not the Z guys either. You are the Z guys. Double the E, double the Z, double the flavor.
Double the stupidity. By the way, another big problem people have with this movie is its length. The full movie is 2 hours and 16 minutes long, but to be honest, I don't mind longer movies. Hell, Stanley Kubrick is known for making long movies, and he's my favorite movie director. But the key difference is that here we have scenes like this one, where Stacy dismisses Paul. This whole scene can be summed up in 3 sentences. I don't like this article about me. You took the money from that free show I did? You're fired. But nope, this goes on for over 4 minutes! Guess they needed extra time for Stacy to do his Axl Rose impression. Hey man, to throw stuff at Paul. Paul to tempt Stacy with scotch. Stacy to drink the scotch while pissing on Paul's shoe. And then finally to fire him. Because you know, that was all necessary. Then Sherry and Drew meet up on the Hollywood sign again, where they lament the situation.
I'm a stripper at the Venus Club.
I'm in a boy band.
Hey, that's not a fair comparison. One of you is consistently selling his body and soul for money. And the other one's a stripper.
You win.
So after this, Stacy goes to the strip club and partakes in a scene with Sherry that might or might not have been in the theatrical release, where they sing Rock You Like a Hurricane and partake in more scenes that could be considered softcore porn. And after all that build-up, what finally happens? We
don't really want this.
Well, that was pointless. Next scene. It seems Drew was somehow able to find all of Sherry's autographed records, as Justice convinces Sherry to go back to Le Bourbon one last time.
It's not fame and fortune you came looking for, Sherry. It's love.
Love is a many splendid thing, love. Lifts us up where we belong. All you need is love.
So after about an hour and a half of being missing in action, Patricia finally returns to this story, protesting again about the evils of rock.
This ends tonight.
I know it does. I've seen it.
Thus the metal fans and the Christian mothers square off, with the metal fans singing We Built This City, and the Christian mothers singing We're Not Gonna Take It. Is it just me, or does this scene seem a little familiar? Viva Rock! But it seems that Stacy recognizes Patricia from somewhere, as it turns out that she used to be a groupie of his. Then Stacy goes inside and finds Constance, and they proceed to have rough bathroom sex. More proof that this was actually a porno disguised as a musical. Then the new guys on the block go up on stage, but are subsequently booed off the stage, and Drew confronts Paul one last time.
I took a stand. Really? For what? Rock and roll, baby.
Rock is dead!
Oh no, you didn't! Oh no! No! No, 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 no. There is yes and there is no. No! 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 I hope you get punched in the face! Thank you!
That's right, hey man. Rock will never die.
Monkey!
Really? You used the Wilhelm scream? That's like the most overused sound effect ever. Hey, while you're at it, why don't you use the Goofy yell? So Drew and Sherry sang this movie's final song, Don't Stop Believin', which somehow convinces Stacy to clean up his act. Cut to a mere 4 months later as Arsenal is back together, the Bourbon is saved, Wolfgang von Colt has become famous, Constance is pregnant with Stacy's child, and Patricia is a groupie again. Of course, they're all bumming it 4 years later when hair metal meets its fitting demise. Okay, that didn't happen. But in any case, that was Rock of Ages, one of the big musical bombs. But is it really as bad as everybody says it is? Well, let's look at the bad parts of this movie. The characters are cliched, the storyline is predictable, the pacing is slow, there are numerous unresolved subplots. But if you look past that, this is actually a lot of fun. I think most of that is owed to its great soundtrack, where every singer in the movie sings some surprisingly impressive renditions of 80s classics. Also, Tom Cruise seems to be having a lot of fun with this performance. It's a guilty pleasure to say the least. Or most. Take whatever you want from that. This is the Happy Spaceman, signing off.
Jesus, that band's got a lot of balls.